Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Uncle Slam, and welcome to episode 2 of my Super Mario Maker 2 Story Mode Any% Speedrun tutorial. In this episode, I'll be covering level 3 in Story Mode, Hello 3D World. Now, fittingly enough, this is the first 3D World level we see in Story Mode, so it has a few bells and whistles that most of the other levels won't have, just due to the nature of 3D World having more features than any of the other game styles. And this level, in particular, features the cat suit a lot more than some of the other 3D World levels. So without spoiling too much, here's what an ideal Hello 3D World should look like in your speedruns. Like I said, this level uses the cat suit quite a bit. There's not any really insane movement you do with it. It's all pretty easy to follow, I think, so hopefully this should help everyone stay on the same page as we go through. So without further ado, let's just get into it. One thing that's worth noting right off the bat here is that if you see these 3 coins here, you can collect all of them in one jump. I just don't, because I didn't happen to in this recording. But if you only get 1 or 2 here, it's not a big deal. Just worth knowing that you can get all 3 in one jump. And I wanted to point that out because I don't do it here. You can get both of those coins in one jump there, and if you notice right here, you might notice some somewhat weird movement from Mario there as he jumps off the tree there that you may not have seen before. So to explain that, I'm going to back up the footage a bit so you can get another look at this. So one thing you can do with Mario in 3D Worlds that you can't in the other game styles is you can have him, well, climb to the top of trees, which don't appear in other game styles, so that'd be why. But what you can do is, at the top of trees, normally what you would probably usually do is reach the top of the tree, and if you want to go right like we do here, you'd be holding right on the controller already as Mario jumps off, and he'd just continue in that direction without anything special going on. Big deal, right? Alternatively, what you can do here is, right before he jumps off, if you tap left on the controller, right before Mario jumps off and then hold right as soon as he's airborne again, he will get a slight speed boost in the air from that because 3D World physics are weird for some reason. And if you do that, it saves maybe half a second. It's a small amount of time, but it is worth knowing for this level. It is easy to do. It doesn't save a lot of time, but it's easy to do, so you might as well learn it. And if you slow down the footage here, what you might notice is that Mario, right before he jumps off the tree, I think there are like 2 or 3 frames where you can actually see him start turning to the left before he jumps off. So that's how you know I did it. And again, you get a slight speed boost. It won't really matter here because Mario's about to ground pound the question mark block anyway, but it is worth knowing if you do want to do that yourself in the level. And when it comes to this question mark block here, you can get a maximum of 10 coins. That's standard. Don't worry if you don't get all 10, though. All you want to do is hit it as far to the left as possible, so it takes longer for the Goomba to reach Mario, and just get as many coins as you can out of it before the Goomba hits you, because you do want to stay Super Mario for this section here. So just get as many as you can from that before the Goomba hits you. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Also right here, since I don't hit the question mark block, it's worth noting that this one on the right that I didn't hit, that also has a coin in it. Ideally, what you do is you hit both of them in one jump. If you don't, it's not a big deal. As long as you get at least one of those coins, that's fine. Just keep going after that. Don't bother collecting the second one because it's only 1 coin when it comes down to it. So don't fret if you miss one of them. It's pretty standard to do that. Then you want to climb that tree to get the cat suit, dive forward, climb the wall, and get those coins. And this is another part I want to address when it comes to the Piranha Plant and the 10 coin. You'll see here that in the air I will dive to take care of it. And once Mario hits the bricks, he'll immediately start falling. He'll hit the 10 coin by himself, so you don't even have to worry about breaking them with a second dive. And then you just climb the scenery and get back on the stage. Pretty easy. Now, I did this with a dive. If you want, you can do it with a ground pound instead. It is a little safer to do that if the dive is a little intimidating for you. I was a little scared to learn it myself, but it really isn't that bad, I promise. But if you are still a little worried about it, you can always ground pound to do it. It's not hugely slower. I think it only takes maybe a second longer, if that, but it's worth knowing. Also, when I resume the video, I want you to pay attention to the movement I do once Mario gets back on the stage, because it might look a little weird at first. So you probably noticed that Mario, for the most part, kept basically max momentum while he was going over to the right after I returned him to the stage. And that's because of the long jump movement I did here. So another aspect of 3D Worlds that is not present in the other game styles is the ability to long jump. And if you use it in the right ways, you can maintain momentum, depending on what the rest of the level is like. So what I will do here is, once Mario returns to the stage on the gray bricks there, I'll have him long jump into the slope, and as soon as he hits the slope, I'll do a normal jump. And that will be the most effective way to keep him going through the stage. It's not hard movement, but if you don't want to learn it, that's fine too. It's not hugely important. You can just jump over the slope, or if you really want to, you can just keep running to the right. This is just the fastest way to get through. So you just long jump, and then do a normal jump, and that's the best way to deal with that. Now I do want to point out right here, because again, I don't hit the question mark block, but the one on the left here, that guy right there, that does contain a power-up. So if you did lose the cat suit earlier in the level, as long as you're still Super Mario, you can hit this and get it back. Alternatively, if you're Small Mario, it'll only give you a mushroom, which you might still want as a safety net. That makes total sense. So just know that. Or if you die later in the level and you hit the checkpoint over here, once you get back into the level, you can immediately hit this question mark block and get the mushroom back. So that's really useful to know, just in case that happens. After we leave this section, what you want to do is jump over that exclamation point block. This is another instance where you can either dive or ground pound to get rid of the piranha plant underneath it. In this case, I find it easier to dive because you had the 2 coins over here in this section to guide the dive. So I just find that easier to line up than the one from before. Again, if you just want to ground pound instead, that's totally fine. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Again, it is just a little bit slower, but it's not hugely significant, like only by a second. So do whichever you're more comfortable with there, I say. And then right here is some movement I would recommend learning, just because it sets you up for the next part a little bit better than other methods, where I jump on the Goomba here and then the B. You can just go between them. You don't have to attack either of them, but I personally prefer to do that because it sets you up in a nice position up here to start diving to the next section. Alternatively, if you just want to go between them, avoid them entirely, hop on the platform here and jump off of the ground, that's totally fine. I just prefer to get rid of both of them because it lines you up nicely. But that's definitely not a necessity, so don't worry if you don't want to do that. But what you do want to do here is you want to dive to the wall and start climbing it to get the 30 coin. In this case, I was able to line myself up super well to get rid of the piranha plant that was just chilling out down here. Sometimes you might not always get that lucky and the piranha plant will still be there. If that's the case, when you jump off the wall, just make sure you're high enough that you can jump on him to get rid of him. Otherwise, you might get hit and lose the cat suit. But if you do, it's not a big deal, and I'll explain that in a second. So just keep that in mind. In any case, you want to come over here and ground pound the exclamation point block. Come over here, and if you have the cat suit, it's as easy as jumping, diving into the flagpole, and reaching the top. It's really easy to reach the top of the flagpole in 3D World as long as you have the cat suit, because all you have to do is hit it basically anywhere from this point or higher. If you're anywhere where the flag is, you'll only get the 5, but in almost no cases is that going to happen, so That's just something worth noting. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, if you reach this point without the cat suit, what do you do to get the 10? Well, there are two things you can do here. One is if you hit this question mark block on the left, that will contain a power-up. Again, it'll be just a mushroom if you're small Mario, so I wouldn't recommend getting it at that point because it won't really help you anymore. Or if you're Super Mario and you hit it, it'll be the cat suit. So at that point you can just grab it, then hit the flagpole like you normally would. Easy. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, this is the preferred method, where you would ground pound on this exclamation point block. Again, this will work if you're small Mario as well. Small or Super Mario, doesn't really matter. And what will happen is a tower of blocks will come out for high. You get to the top of that, and then you can jump over to the flagpole from there. And there are two methods that you can use to reach the top of this tower, and I'll explain them right here. So as you can see right here, I'm now at the end of the level, and I do not have the cat suit, nor is that prawn plant there, but let's not worry about that. So to further illustrate what I was getting across here, this block right here, if you ground pound it, will immediately make a tower to the top, and if you spin up here, you can just climb up, nice and easy, and then just long jump across. You'll hit the top of the flagpole, no problem. Alternatively, for a better approach, that's just a little bit faster, hence better. You can see that Mario's kind of standing over the edge a little bit, based on where his left foot is. So if you ground pound right here, tower will boost you right up, no problem. So yeah, and then from there you just do another long jump or normal jump, doesn't really matter. Hit the top of the flagpole, should be pretty easy. Now with all that out of the way, that should be about all I have to say about this level. Ideally you finish with a coin count of anywhere from about 80 to 85. It's going to be kind of hard to get a coin count above 85, so kudos if you do. But you probably shouldn't expect to see anything more than that. And you see I finished this at 469 on the timer, that's really good. Ideally what you should expect is anywhere from about 466 to 469, and that's assuming you go for all the coins that I went for. Obviously, if you want to skip a few here and there, you'll probably finish a little bit faster, but that's just something to keep in mind. And with that said, that's about it for this episode. I will see you guys in the next episode, where I'll be talking about level 4, Under the Angry Sun. So until then, take it easy, and peace out.